Hello and welcome to another edition of the Dugout podcast. I am your co-host Andrew, alongside my fellow co-host as always, Marissa, and we are back with a lot to talk about. A lot of heated, poignant incidents to discuss.
I feel that word heated is pointing towards me. Just forgive me for my, my voice notes yesterday.
It is fine. It is fine. We've all been there as a fan.
It's true.
But I don't think that heated is, only pertain to you, because I feel as though, as fans in general, you want the best product.
Yeah.
We want, fair decisions and stuff like that, or fair results. So, even though it's not my team, I can empathize with your frustration at different times.
So let me give viewers the context of this conversation then. So what we're referring to is what we're going to be talking about for our first segment, which is again VAR. Apparently we need to just pencil this into every agenda when weeks come, apparently.
Right.
So I would have it's your fault though. You messaged me. It's your fault for messaging me and welling me up.
Right, okay.
Because I was watching the game and I was already screaming at my TV to the point I was actually hoarse this morning for a bit. And then, you messaged me and then I get even more heated, especially as things were going on.
Right.
Because, as we all know, Tottenham played Chelsea.
I don't think we want to start there.
Oh, where do we want to start?
Newcastle, Arsenal. We go, build tension, right?
Fine.
So we can start.
I thought we were giving the people the context of my apology for my
I thought you were going straight to the game. So you're not going straight to the game.
Well, I figured that VARs will mostly take it up, but sure, let's go with what we
right, because Newcastle and Arsenal have VAR controversy as well, so that's why I said them first, and then.
All right, cool, no problem.
So Newcastle, Arsenal, Newcastle. Should I use the word stole? Stole the 3 points at St. James Park, or was it deserved?
I didn't watch the game, so I can't say.
It was a very competitive game, closely contested. I'll put it that way, and then VAR, played a deciding role in the outcome. So
you're of the view that it shouldn't have been a goal?
That's a good question.
Yes, let's get straight to the point.
That's right. So there are two incidents for me that I felt were of concern in that game. So I'll put it this way. Or let's do the first incident first, which is whether or not the ball went out of play when Bilal went to retrieve it.
Right.
From the naked eye, it does look like the ball was out of play. So for me, if I believe that the ball went out of play, it shouldn't be a goal. But I actually saw that there's a clip on beIN Sports where they use a VAR.
Yeah.
And they actually show that the ball, there's a fraction of the ball that's still on the lane. So I guess then the goal should have stood, if that is your deciding, call or what's not. Beyond that though, the biggest talking point for me though is whether or not Joelinton fouled Gabriel for the cross. To me, that is very, very subjective, and here's why. Yes, Joelinton has two hands on the back of Gabriel, but at the same time, it looked like if Gabriel's body position was motioning to go and duck and head the ball away. So is it a case that he was pushed, or is it a case that he was already on his way down? So I can understand if the referee or if VAR decided that it was a foul, and I can also understand if they decided that they're going to stick with the on-field decision of not awarding the foul. So that's a very, very tricky one.
So where do you stand? What would you have done if you was VAR?
I'll simplify it. If it was VAR, I would have called it as a foul. And here's why. Because if that was Virgil van Dijk or somebody from Liverpool, that incident, that same scenario occurred, I would have wanted the free kick.
Okay, fair enough.
Even if I buy in it. Because it does look like if Gabriel tried to, stoop to head the ball first.
Right. So I kind of agree with you. But I would go the other way, and not because it's Arsenal.
Right.
I would have probably allowed the goal to stand because when you watch it, and the key is watching it real time. When you watch it real time, it don't really look like a push. Right. It more looked like what you said, that he was already in that kind of downward motion to head away the ball.
Right.
And then, obviously Joelinton jumping, and when you're jumping is, because I see players do it all the time when they're going for headers on corners and stuff all the time. So I didn't think it was like his hand was not his hand was more leaning on him than pushing him, is what I would say from my vantage point.
But the thing is, right, is that, okay, it'd be different for me if it was a case that you argue that Jolin's hands being on his back prevented him from jumping to reach the ball. That'd be different.
Right, I agree.
But I don't think that's the case either. So that's why. But at the same time, hands on the back, if that was any other part of the pitch, it might have been given as a foul.
Fair enough.
Let's be fair. To be fair to Arsenal. But I don't want VAR, because there's something you have to pinpoint. I do not want VAR to take away the focus from Arsenal. Because I don't think Arsenal created enough to win that game. They lacked a cutting edge. Granted, Newcastle were very well organized and stuff like that. And Newcastle also obviously carried the threat as well with the trickery of Almiron and the pace of Wilson and Gardner on the break. But this way, don't want us to let Arsenal off the hook. Because Mikel Arteta, who in his infinite wisdom, supposedly,
the worst decision he's ever seen,
switched. But he switched goalkeepers. And that's not, because if Raya had judged the ball properly and got in there, got in his hand, the ball having come, then that might have been academic whether or not the ball went out.
100%.
And the entire game, every big game that Arsenal has contested this year, it was Chelsea that they played, right? Chelsea, they played United, they played City as well. Most of the games that I've watched Arsenal play against competitive teams or teams that you expect to be at the top end of the table, David Raya has looked nervous. He has looked edgy. He doesn't fill you with confidence. And is it a case that Arteta needs to admit his mistake and go back to Ramsdale?
Never do that.
Probably not. But yeah, I think that it was an everybody goalkeeper in a certain extent that also contributed to the goal.
So that's why I clapped, because that's a fantastic point. Because I hate the fact that, and somebody put it up, and it was like, that is so true. A few weeks ago, when the thing happened with you guys, he was asked about it, and you know what he said? Oh, it's VAR, we have to accept the decisions. But then when something goes against you, it's all the outrage. People would take the nonsense surrounding VAR more seriously if opposition managers actually speak out against decisions that actually benefit them. Instead of just being like, oh, we got to accept the decision. No, call it out, because it could be you the next week, and that's what we're seeing. And the reason I clap is because I believe that that's what Mikel Arteta is doing. He's putting the focus on a VAR decision that, come on, we've seen those things not given a million times as well, to take away attention from the fact that his side did not play well in terms of chance creation. I feel like that is something that Arsenal is struggling with in what you would deem more competitive games this season. Yeah, against teams like Sheffield and Bournemouth, they will run riot. But against sides that have a bit more competitive edge and could probably go toe-to-toe with them, they're struggling. And Arteta, like I said about Ten Hag last week, I think he's going to live and die by his decisions. He's sticking with Kai Havertz, even though it is clearly not working. He's sticking with David Raya despite the mistakes. And he's the starter manager for me. I ain't know him personally. But he's a starter manager that is so stubborn that he would just see this right through to the end without making any changes. And it's going to cost them. Because like you said, all of this could have been avoided if David Raya had judged the flight of that ball correctly. But I agree with you. I don't think VAR should take away from the fact that Arsenal, really and truly, somebody put it perfectly when it was online reading the reaction and stuff. The point is, Arsenal still didn't score. So it was still going to be a draw anyways. I mean, a point is better than none. But you understand what I'm saying? It's like, I think that some managers are masters of deflection, and he's definitely one. So, yeah, I agree. VAR should not take away from the fact that Arsenal really didn't play that well.
Correct. And David Raya, we'll see how he settles or continues to settle, but I find that he's very, very erratic. Granted, last season, I remember Ramsdale being erratic at times.
Yes.
But that was more towards the run-in when the race was really on.
Pressure.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Your comment about Raya is interesting because, remember, Spurs had agreed a free with Brentford for him. And then they pulled, well, not agree a free. I think they agreed personal terms with him. But they ended up not paying the fee that Brentford were requesting, and it felt like maybe they thought it was too much, and then they went for Vicario.
The Spurs or it was Bayern?
It was Spurs.
Bayern had agreed to feed with him too, or personal terms.
So that's
Bayern.
two.
It was Bayern
But
wanted him too, and he opted to stay in the Premier League with Arsenal.
Right. So, but Spurs were in for him at the beginning of the summer, and then they pulled out to the deal and went for Vicario instead. Who looks? We'll get to him in a bit. We talk about Tottenham, Chelsea, but he looks like he looks like a very good signing. So we'll see how the Davaraya situation plays out, and yeah.
So thankfully you mentioned Chelsea and Tottenham, that game on Monday. That game that was full of incident, full of drama. We had it all. We had disallowed goals, we had red cards, we had bad challenges, we had flashpoints. Anything, we had drama. We had high octane football, played at great intensity. Let me see. They got to the correct decisions in the end, but I guess where the frustration might come from is the fact that it took them, a couple tries to get there, right?
I would say it took them 55 minutes.
So
where should we start?
We should start the first incident. The
incident that I felt ignited Chelsea, I would say.
But before we go there, the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, the first 10, 15 minutes, I thought Tottenham did very well. Played exceptionally well.
Excellently well.
Chelsea struggled to cope with the pace of Tottenham's attack and movement. I thought them looked like, if they could get a couple early goals, this would be a comfortable night. That didn't materialize. Chelsea started growing the game. And then that flashpoint incident that you're referring to, where is Daniel Ndugi?
Destiny.
Destiny, sorry.
Udugi or something. Let me just call it Destiny tonight.
Destiny, yeah. Destiny tonight.
But before we get to that, I just want to say this as a Chelsea fan. There's a lot of narrative going around. And yes, Spurs did really well with 9 men. And I thought Chelsea were very poor against 9 men for a bit.
Right.
But I really don't want the VAR, the 9 men thing to distract from the fact that after Tottenham scored, Chelsea were definitely in the ascendancy. Even before I think I saw a stat where since Spurs had scored, Chelsea had like 7 shots or something like that.
Right.
And we're basically controlling the game again, even before the red cards.
Right.
So I don't want anybody to just distract from the fact that even though we were faced with some serious adversity in the first 10, 15 minutes that you rightfully said, we grew back into the game. And I thought that was commendable. So I just need to get that out the way, because I think for a team that lose 4-1 Spurs game, too much plaudits for my liking. But let's go.
I could touch on these Spurs because, but leave that for later.
Yeah.
I have my thoughts on that whole they did well with 9 men.
Okay.
But
can't wait to hear.
Sure. So Udogie, right? Pronounce his name correctly.
Yeah.
Udogie. That 2-footed challenge on Raheem Sterling that Michael Oliver booked him for. But VAR looked at it as potentially serious foul play and deemed it that because he touched the ball or something like that.
Some nonsense.
It wasn't worthy of a red. That should have been a red. That is a straight red. Any 2-footed challenge where the player leaves the ground.
He literally jumped into
even
that
momentarily.
That was poor. In fact, Kai Havertz should have been sent off too. I know. Newcastle was talking about. I didn't see the Bruno Guimaraes thing, but I did see Kai Havertz tackle. That was a red card to me.
Not to me.
Yes, it was.
It was rushed.
He was off the ground.
Yeah, but it was one for the people saying on. It was a hard tackle. I don't know. I think the yellow was fair enough. I would have just given him a yellow. I would have just given him a yellow.
Fair enough. But if you're giving that a yellow, how are you possibly saying that and not you, VAR? How are you possibly saying that and the Udogie challenge are even comparable?
Udogie was more severe, more hazardous
and
potentially.
If Sterling did not pull away his leg, that could have been a serious problem for Raheem Sterling if he had left in his leg.
Yeah, so that was the first thing.
100% red.
VAR checked it and VAR stuck with the on-field decision.
Foolishness.
I think that they should have referred Michael Oliver to the screen and let him have another look at that particular challenge.
Exactly.
But it's not the first time. Like, as I reminded you, I remember Harry Kane two seasons ago.
I remember.
2-footed on Robertson as well and got a yellow. Yeah. So,
can't send off the England captain, Andrew.
Then there was another
flashpoint.
I think this is where Sterling goal was disallowed for a handball.
Rightfully so.
But off the ball, Colwell met him with a strong challenge on. Remember, like
actually, it was Thiago Silva that barged
Thiago? Okay. I thought it looked like Cowell. That was led by
It was
Cowell.
Thiago Silva that barged him, and then Cowell was in the vicinity. And
Right,
he
so
just
he
kicked out.
he kicked out at Cowell. And then it's like, VAR checks it again and deem it to be petulant rather than violent. But
I agree it was petulant rather than violent, but it was a red card worthy offense because the ball had long gone.
It's not about the ball long going. It's not about the ball long going to me. It's just that you're not supposed to do those kind of things.
Well, true. But it's not the first time that happened to one of my players and VAR looked at it and it was deemed to be nothing.
Those kind of incidents from my understanding, aren't allowed. We don't want players to, petulant or not, be raising the foot or kicking out at somebody after a challenge has been made. So I feel as though that should have been enough for a red as
100%.
well. I'm very surprised that VAR didn't overturn didn't
send him to the screen,
recommend
to look,
that Michael Oliver go back and apply some punishment for that particular decision. And then, they had the offside goal that Caicedo scored.
I understand why it's offside.
Right.
Nicholas Jackson was a fraction offside, but
right.
To me, Nicholas Jackson was not obstructing the view of Vicario. He was not. That ball was far enough away that he could have reached. That was an excellent finish from Caicedo. The only reason Vicario didn't get it is because it was right in the far corner. It wasn't because he was being obstructed.
I agree with you because the shot was, a fair result as well.
Exactly.
So it didn't impede him, in my opinion, but
I guess rules are rules.
I guess the whole thing is whether or not. So it didn't impede him, but I guess the question is whether or not Jackson's position was in the way of his eyesight. So I guess that's what they're looking at.
Yeah, but when I say it from behind the goal, not to me.
And then
in the midst of that,
Romero
was just doing everything he could to get early shot.
Exactly, because him and Udogie.
Yeah.
First him, I don't understand. He gonna be a special kind of man. I like him as a player though. He's very.
Udogie?
No, Romero.
I can't stand him.
He wants to. Well, I guess he's great
because I just find him to be a very. I don't want to use the word dirty because that's a strong claim, but I don't like some of the challenges he makes. I just don't. He just seems to be. I don't know was the best word to call it, but it's not the first time I've seen these ridiculous challenges from him. Especially against my players.
He's a very fractious character.
Yeah, let's call it that.
But, challenge over the top of the ball.
And fellow Argentinian.
I don't think in that moment he was thinking about it. I think he was just thinking about defending the goal. But it's one of those ones where, again, old-fashioned, like 15 years ago, that you would have gone away with that. In the sense that, all right, in terms of not at least receiving a red. Because, it's a case where he just, kicked through the ball and follow through, but yeah, that was reckless, dangerous. That could have broken Enzo's leg. Sure.
And I hear arguments about he get the ball, but to me that follow through was awful. World. That was when I saw it. I was like, that was when I started to scream at my TV, honestly, because at this point, right? Remember, at this point, Udogie had got Romero one. Romero had already got Romero one. Raheem Sterling go get rid for offside. They were currently checking the Caicedo offside. At this point, my head was. I think this is at the point you're messing me, Yeah. My head was so big, right? I was literally screaming at my TV when I saw that challenge, honestly. But it was the right decision in the end, I felt. At first, when he went to the screen and then called over Son and Romero, I was like, what was all this chit-chat going on? But I guess he was explaining to them that in the process of checking the offside, they went back and this. So I guess they were explaining to him why, yeah.
Great,
but 100% right, 100% penalty.
Yeah, and Cole Palmer tucked it away.
Barely.
Good penalty. That was a good penalty, though.
It was, but it was almost a dead save by Vicario.
Yeah, I guess. But and then second half, Udogie, first him, a brain dead decision because he did the first part. Well,
Raheem
Sterling helped him out, contributed because the pass was an awful pass. He cut it out, and then Sterling is racing towards the ball, but he's going away from goal. Yeah. Just shepherd him, towards the byline.
Inexperience, I would say.
But inexperience. I just jump it. Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure that situation happens on the 18 level and 21 level.
Fair enough.
You already on the yellow.
He knew he was gone. By the time he hit the ground, he knew. Yeah.
The only thing that would have saved him is if the additional plays and the referee decided that he wanted to keep, he didn't want to send off any more players. Which, You know,
But
you would argue about. So
he had already made a fault, not a yellow card worthy fault, but he had already made another fault in the second half as well.
Right.
Not
Well, yeah,
the second half, the first half. First half, yeah.
Right.
So
But he should have gone already for you to put it on.
But I should have probably pulled him at halftime though, I felt.
Yes, the same way that you pulled Colwell.
Exactly. Because I thought that was, from the time I saw the sub, I knew, and Poch basically confirmed it, I knew that it was because Colwell kind of lost his head. Because him and getting some argy-bargy, Sar.
It was Sar, right.
So I thought that was smart from Poch.
Yeah, because he was trying to get sent off too.
Yeah, it was a little.
He was trying to get sent off.
Yeah, and both are like 20 years old, very inexperienced. So I think at that point, your manager needs to step in and say, look, especially because Sterling had been playing well all game, and he was he's left back, Sterling right winger. So I think it was always going to happen if he stayed on. To be honest,
I mean, okay, I don't have a problem if it happened if he stayed on. But I just mean that, like, not like that though. They're basically get second yellow.
It's true.
And that is a needless challenge.
Fair.
Considering the context of where Sterling was going on the pitch. But that leads us to back to the football itself. The 11 versus 9 that it became. And people praising Tottenham about their approach. A very brave approach, a very unusual approach.
Very naive approach.
That too, if you want to call it that. I know actually, the thing is, I don't know if it's naive. Maybe a bit of naivety.
He literally playing offside on the halfway line with 9 men. Why is he being praised for that?
No, wait. I ain't praising him. I think, don't get me wrong, I'm not praising him. I said a very unusual, a very brave tactic. You mentioned naive. I felt he almost got away with it,
It's true,
because you were being naive too.
I won't even call it. Was it naive or was it
inexperience? I don't know what it was. Because Chelsea were
being nice to Chelsea.
Chelsea were being very, very impatient in terms of trying to beat
to force it too much.
Exactly. So I was wondering, like, talking about Archie over here with this strategy.
You remember I messaged you, what did I tell you? You said something about they get lose. I tell you, I ain't convinced.
But this reason I felt they would lose because Chelsea don't got Chelsea's players are not scrubs. To use that Stephen A. Smith word. I don't mean TLC song. Sorry. But they're not scrubs. They can't play. So I mean at some point when I said that Tottenham would lose because I expected Chelsea at some point to understand the assignment and adapt and make the necessary adjustment. And they did.
Yeah.
Because then instead of trying to play one pass so early, you then start to see nice little combinations, 1-2s, and turnaround runs.
But I could see that it was a side that was almost too desperate to win. Right. Because Conor Gallagher made a point after the game. He was like, we felt like there was kind of a pressure because they were down to 10 men to win the game. And you were seeing like that. You were seeing that on social media and stuff. And then they went down to 9. So my thing is that it was a side that were desperate to win, were almost afraid not to win, and were kind of not just... Because Pochettino was furious on the touchline on multiple occasions. So they were just a little too desperate for it. Right. And then eventually...
I mean, because I guess the longer it goes and it stays 1-1, then, everybody's thinking about the headline tomorrow, Chelsea failed to win against
exactly. Because that was already...
especially a team that was playing with a highline and basically relying on a keeper to play sweeper.
Yeah.
But you made the adjustment eventually, got 3 goals in the last 15, 10 minutes of the game, I believe. And, actually, one came in the last 10 minutes or just on the cusp of that. And then
one
2
came in 75 and then 2 in extra time.
Right, correct. So Chelsea ran out 4-1 winners. Like I said, an interesting game. Great entertainment.
And I just also want to say too, and I think this is mainstream football in England is very biased because if Chelsea had lost, all the talk would have been about how poor we are, how awful we are. But how about give the team some credit? Like, that's a big 3 points against Spurs who were unbeaten. And you know what? All this talk about Chelsea against 9 men, how long did it take Spurs to score against y'all when y'all were down to 9 men? I mean,
they scored last game
with an own goal.
So,
I just think that instead of this high praise for Ange or whatever, give the boys some credit. It's 3 big points away at as the table would say, the best team in the country currently based on the table. No, Man City, I thought though, right?
Yeah, Man City haven't won their game.
Right. So it's a big 3 points. We always go there. I think we probably are the most successful away side at that stadium now. I think we've won 6 out of 8 games. So The problem with Chelsea now is consistency.
Right.
And Man City on Sunday.
I was going to say, it doesn't get any easier.
And Anthony Taylor is refereeing that game. So I fully expect a defeat. But, is honestly, in this, we have a real nightmare run right now. Mm-hmm. So to have 3 points already, I taken it and I running with it. And you know what? Somebody said that people were talking about it was one of Chelsea's worst performances in the season. I mean, the overreaction has got me, but
I didn't think so.
I didn't think so either.
Honestly, I just think it was a case where Chelsea wants, like you said, Chelsea got eager. Mm-hmm. They saw the opportunity and they wanted to almost pounce immediately rather than staying patient. And just playing your game, working, moving Tottenham around on good formation. Because the problem with Tottenham on that high line is that you can play a high line, yes, but like you said, they're down with 9 men. Mm-hmm. But the problem with a high line for sure is that in order to play a high line, if you want to catch a team offside, you have to almost play a high press as well because you force them to play the ball early.
Mm-hmm. And they weren't doing that.
Exactly. Because, the players didn't have the legs. True. And, they were doing it occasionally where you saw Son and I think Kulusevski go high. Yeah. But obviously, there's a numerical advantage. They're being bypassed. And then, you can see line there just like holding. I'm trying to hope that it's almost like a catch-22, hoping that Chelsea would have continued and made it run too early.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like I said, good players, Enzo, Caicedo, good players, eventually they're going to adapt.
It's true, yeah.
Or even if they don't score, they still going to score the ball, I expect you eventually to beat the trap and at least create a chance.
Yeah, and, we have to say Tottenham also lost a couple of players due to injury in the game.
Yeah.
And I saw today at Richarlison needs surgery or something.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
So, I just think, and I said it last week, I swear wasn't putting the Mickey on Spurs.
Right.
But it will be interesting to see Spurs know that Mickey Van de Ven is probably going to be out for a while. I don't know how long Madison is out. And to me, those are two, and it's just a Son, of course, two of Tottenham's key players. Right. I want to see how they play now. So,
well, we'll see.
We'll see indeed.
All right, so switching gears.
Yeah. Before we head to the leaderboard.
Before we switch gears, though, so last word on VAR. Get in there.
Trash.
Still trash.
Still trash.
Still making mistakes.
We can't be talking about VAR every week, man. Can't be talking about VAR every week. And this is not about Chelsea. Like I said, I believe that fans and managers need to speak about VAR even when they benefit.
Right.
So for me, yes, VAR eventually got some decisions. They got some wrong and they eventually got some right in my game. Right. But you cannot consistently have the inconsistency and just people getting away with things that are clear fouls.
Right.
And so, I just think, I would like the Artetas and the Klopps and the Pochettinos to speak out about VAR even when they benefit. Don't say, we should accept the decision when it goes for you. Right. And then when it goes against you, it's a disgrace, it's the worst thing. No, I ain't buying that.
Like you said, it's a bit disappointing that they got some initially wrong because it's not a case where they didn't check the Udogi challenge initially. The Romero kick out. So I agree on with you on that fact. So I would have liked them to get the decisions right from the off.
Yeah.
But they got there in the end. In the Newcastle Arsenal game, I felt I was okay with the final decisions, to be honest. Like I said, we walked through the incidents already. So
could have gone either way, but that's football pretty much.
Correct. Yeah. Right, so switching gears, Man U won at the weekend. I watched the game. Again, a very... what's the word? A very...
inept performance.
I was talking about the game itself. The game was kind of... It was one of those games that simmered, but it never bowled over. Yeah. When I say simmered, because I felt as though Fulham played some good stuff, but as you correctly pointed out, Fulham's problem is that before Mitrovic, they're not clinical, they're not converting enough chances.
They play well, but...
Correct.
Yeah.
They're not putting any ball in the wall on your back.
Yeah.
And that kept Man U in the game. And like I said, as I told you, I think Man U would have found a moment. Bruno found it, sent Paulina and somebody else with drinks. And then, shot. Keeper got a hand to it, but it couldn't turn around the post.
I think I was disappointed with that goal too because how much chances did Fulham have to put that ball in touch?
Yeah.
But Man U.
But again, remember what I said. That's Man U kind of football. Challenge football when the ball high, and then from there you can get a chance, you can play. But not so much about the game, but Man U's star players. Again, Man U were in news this week for off the field issues. Rashford going out to celebrate
his birthday.
His birthday after the Manchester Derby the week before.
It wasn't a night before?
No, it was the same day of the game, so it's after the game.
It was the same night?
Yeah, the same night after the defeat.
I thought it was the next day at least.
It was, for me, let me just give my thoughts and I'll hand it over to you on this particular topic. I don't see the big deal. Okay, the thing, right? This is the thing. I know people will say it's optics thing, and people will start to like make out, he don't care, or the Man U players don't care, because after being outplayed by Manchester City, how could you be out, in the nightclub in Manchester or what's not? Marcus Rashford turned 25 or 26, was it?
26.
26, cool. But it was pre-planned. You want to know why it was pre-planned? Because it was his birthday. So, question. If I have a bad day at work, I can't go the same night. And if it's my birthday, I just socialize with my close friends or what's not. It's his birthday. The game, it's not a case where he did it before the game. He did it, I missed training the next day. It was his birthday. Yes, Man U lost. Yes, I get the whole idea of, fans are going to feel offended or be up in arms. But he's like, footballers are humans, it's not a case where he was out the night and it was like, he was doing something that was, distasteful, like, smoking a hookah or something, I don't know, or, drunk, after the game or what's not. He was just out. And the reason why is, he was going for his birthday. Now, yes, Rashford maybe could have had a house party or something like that, or something a bit more private where he would not be in the eyesight of the public. But who are we to tell somebody how to celebrate their birthday? That's my point. I don't think it should have been an issue, me personally.
All right, so you made some good points, and I could definitely see that perspective for sure. Like you said, football is pretty much a job too. Like
it is a job.
Yeah, but where I think, before I give my thoughts, where I think the outrage comes from is they just lost a derby. Rashford has been poor this season.
Right.
And there's a perception among some Man U fans that a lot of these players don't seem to really care. So to me, going out, partying, it kind of almost feeds that.
Right.
So I could understand the outrage, but like I said, I also understand what you're saying is that it was his birthday. What I would have done, I think for me, footballers also need to understand that optics are important.
Right.
Because as much as you play football on the pitch, your off the pitch stuff matters. And Rashford knows that better than anybody with all the great work he's done in England. So for me, I would have done what you suggest I end. Yes, you want to celebrate your birthday and that's fine. But I would have done it in a private manner. Maybe have a in-house party so that the camera's in a row and it can't get blown out of proportion.
But
that's what I would have done.
The reason I would have done that is because the game was lost, right?
Exactly.
And the manner of the defeat. It was comprehensive, I guess, right?
Exactly.
And I get all that. I get the whole idea of optics matter. But here's the thing. It's only in sports where people like to tell athletes what they should do in their own time.
That is true. 100%.
If I walk at the club, I go into the club, it's my birthday.
I understand.
And it shouldn't be an issue once I get work on time the next day.
That's true.
Once in the process of being in the club, I'm not involved in, let's say, drunk driving accident or something that brings a negative light on the club.
So I think this also highlights the wider issue that people just see, let's say, Enzo Fernandez, the footballer,
right?
Marcus Rashford, the footballer. They don't tend to think that these people are men with lives and feelings and emotions, not just a footballing commodity for their pleasure and their entertainment.
Correct.
So I get what you're saying. I just think sometimes too, you just have to kind of be mindful about it.
And I did think, like, for me, if it was a case where he did it before the game, and he should be in bed getting some rest, and then his performance was bad, I would accept that he's wrong.
Fair enough.
If he did it and he missed training, he got him in late, I would accept that he's wrong.
Do you think that with everything going on with Sancho, though, in terms of how the club is not really handling that situation well, it's kind of, it also, like, for me, I feel the situation is being blown up the way it is because of everything else surrounding Man U. In terms of the Sancho situation, in terms of Ten Hag, the pressure on Ten, like, would it have been a big deal if, let's say, that was Man United's first defeat of the season?
Oh, you mean Rashford did what he did?
Yeah.
I think so, because if it's against City, it will be a big deal.
Fair enough.
But here's the thing: the Sancho thing should have been resolved by now.
Yeah.
Pull Sancho in your confidence of your office and have a conversation.
Yeah.
I need to apologize. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't think what you said, you should have said it in public. Mm-hmm. Blah, blah, blah. If Sancho objects, fine him. I don't know, but I honestly think that have a conversation. I guess until now. Okay, clearly Sancho looking to leave in January, right?
Clearly.
That's where you're heading. If it hasn't been resolved by this point. That's the truth.
But then I'm hearing a lot of passionate stuff talking about he banned from the canteen.
Yeah, he can't change for the first team. He's not allowed from the first team.
And it just feels like something that a simple conversation would solve.
I don't know if it's a simple conversation would solve it, but I feel as though attempts should have been made. Though
maybe they were. I don't know.
Maybe.
Whatever.
I don't know. I don't seem like that sort of person I like to.
Yeah. Talk.
Yeah, I like to stand off his initial precipice, whatever that precipice might have been.
Fair enough.
Right.
Leaderboard.
I had a very, very bad time of it. You had a good one?
I didn't have too much better than you. We both had poor weeks.
Right.
Because that Liverpool-Luton result was not in cards. Oh.
Actually, that Liverpool-Luton result.
Gosh,
let me just say this.
What have I done?
Yes, what have you done? But let me just say this.
This is not on the agenda.
Then we move on to the leaderboard. Liverpool should have won the game, in my humble estimation. The reason that Liverpool did not win the game is because Liverpool didn't play badly. Mm-hmm. It's just that we didn't convert our chances.
Okay.
Chief culprit being Darwin Núñez, but he was not the only one. Mm-hmm. Jota wasted a chance or two as well. And Mohamed Salah was unusually, off color.
Quiet. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and quiet. His touch was really horrible on that day, to be honest. And then, Luton got the goal. Thankfully, it's almost like, sometimes football just writes a script. It just writes a script. Luis Diaz, with all that's going on with him.
Yeah.
And again, I send my, thoughts and wishes. And, we hope that his dad is return home safely, as soon as possible. But with all that's going on with him, that he could pop up with a header in the dying embers of the game to rescue a point. Football is just a beautiful sport sometimes,
when it goes in your favor.
Well, certain things just happen. It's just like indiscreet.
Yeah. Anyways.
Right, okay.
We both had poor weeks, to be honest. But my lead has now been extended to 2 points.
Oh, boy.
I got 3 right this week. Mm-hmm. My 3 were Chelsea Spurs, a Chelsea win, Man City win, of course, and a Newcastle win.
Oh, yeah, you did predict Newcastle win.
And your 2 were the Man United result, barely, and the Man City win.
Okay.
Yeah, so we didn't have great weeks because we went for a Liverpool win, obviously. You have went for a Spurs win. I have went for a draw between Man and Fulham. So, yeah, so I have 11 points in total. You have 9. It's still close, but,
And it shall remain close.
2 weeks in a row I have won, so let's go.
Again, I still have not received my last season prize. I have not received my
Andrew, I keep telling you, just tell me what you want, and we'll do it.
All right, if you say so.
Within reason, of course.
This on tip.
Oh, gosh.
Within reason. What's within reason for you?
Let me discuss that off here.
She cheap. Ladies and gentlemen, she cheap as hell. All right.
Economically conservative.
Whatever you want to say.
All right, so Spurs away at Wolves. Early morning kickoff on Saturday.
Oh, dear. I just gotta look at these pictures to get my predictions right.
All right, I'll go first.
Right, okay, go ahead.
Wolves lost to Sheffield, right? Wolves getting some hard decisions against them.
Yeah, I hear some.
Yeah, they're getting some really hard decisions against them. Injuries to Spurs, but I still fancy Spurs to win this, But I think I can go with the safe option and go with a draw.
Okay. What score?
1-1.
1-1. Okay.
Let's make no soundbite a hat trick and maybe we can off the
God, I don't know what to predict this.
Yeah, this is a tough one, to be honest. This is a tough one.
All right, I'm going to go 1-0 Tottenham.
Okay. All right. Man United at home to Luton.
Okay, Man United at home to Luton. My second team. I got a call from my dad, actually. who also supports Liverpool, and he told me that both of his teams can't beat each other, so they had a draw. So, but Man U against Luton. That was just an aside, a small aside. Don't get frustrated, Marissa. Don't get flustered. All right, this is not fair. Don't rage against me. All right, so Man U against Luton. I'll go for a 2-0 Man United. If Luton gets something at Man U, wow. But I'll go for 2-0 Luton.
Honestly, right? I think it's possible that they get something.
Yeah,
I do.
On that big Old Trafford pitch.
Man United are a side that I don't know how to predict. Casemiro and Varane. I don't know what's going on with Varane and Ten Hag though. I think something is going on there.
I told you what was going on.
What you tell me?
I told you that it's just a simple case that Ten Hag is trying to. I think that Ten Hag is trying to suggest to Varane, I'm not happy with your recent performances.
Okay, fair enough.
Do better and get back in the team.
Which is strange because I think he's played. Anytime I've watched Man United, Varane to me is be one of the better players in my opinion.
Not all the time. He's had some poor games too. I think the one player previous to this season that I would say that when he's played he's also done well is Martinez for the most part.
It's true.
I think Varane last season Varane was good, but there's been times this season included he could probably accuse him of some poor defending as well.
Yeah. Gosh, this is a hard game to predict. I feel like it could be a 1-1 because I think Luton, in the little bit I say against y'all, they were pretty good on the counter attack, and I think they're happy sitting back, allowing Man United to have the ball.
Right. And
Man United are very, very vulnerable to counter attacks.
Yes.
But it's Luton still.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Actually, no, make your position and then I'll tell you what you think is. Go ahead.
I think I can go. I think I can go 2-0 United.
Okay. All right. So here's the thing. Ross Barkley had a very, very good game against me on Sunday.
He loved playing Liverpool.
Correct. But you see, the problem that Ross Barkley got is that Ross Barkley, when he shower, and he take off that kit, when he put it back on again this weekend, he ain't gonna be the same Ross Barkley.
It's true.
So I don't expect Luton. I don't
expect him to be 8 out of 10 to probably a 2 out of 10
to be that influential. Yeah. That's the problem with him. So I could be wrong, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Arsenal against Burnley. That is me. Burnley 3-0 Arsenal.
Yeah, I'll go 3-0 Arsenal as well.
Yeah. Newcastle away at Bournemouth.
Newcastle lost today in Champions League, by the way.
Yeah, I saw 2-0.
2-0, right?
After that great first match week they had. No, second match week.
Yeah.
Bottom of the table, no.
But I mean, it's still close though. Getting 3 points.
Yeah, it's still close. But
because PSG lost today.
Yeah, I saw. It was always going to be a tough group, and But I think Newcastle heading for Europa League, to be honest.
I'm a joint Panthers, man. And then roll with that. Gotta keep my company.
Yes, this so. There's me, right? No, this is you first.
Okay. So Newcastle away to Bournemouth. Damn. This one is tough too.
All right, yeah.
I'll go 1-1.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I can go 3-1.
To Newcastle? Bournemouth not bad?
Bournemouth ain't that bad. I just think Newcastle are just better in the league right now. And I think they're going to be... I find whenever they come off a disappointing result, they tend to bounce back pretty okay. So...
Yeah, I mean, that could be true. I actually picked the 1-1 because I'm hoping that I don't bounce back.
Of course.
So quickly. So I'm hoping that, the nature of that 2-0 against Dortmund means that they'll be a bit stifled against Bournemouth.
I don't.
Right.
Liverpool at home to Brentford.
I'm going to go 2-0 Liverpool.
Just 2?
Yeah, they'll try to talk me. I'll make prediction, man, into a high score, and then they get wrong. I'll go 2-0.
3-1.
Okay. You might be right.
To Brentford. They're kidding Liverpool.
You might be right, though.
And, oh, good grief. Oh, look, y'all got early kickoff next week. Not next week, 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, against City, I know.
Yeah.
I know. I'm aware.
I just say it as it's go down. Chelsea at home to Man City.
This is me first, or you? I know. I think I made first just now, so it's you, yeah.
Why did it have to be me? Oh, good grief. There's no way in God's green earth that Chelsea can beat City. 3-0 Man City?
Okay. I'm going to go 2-0 Man City.
Gosh, that was painful to say.
I'll go 2-0.
Yeah, I think it can be 3 though.
Okay.
Yeah, and Haaland can pull out the Drogba celebration. Anyways, so that's it for football.
Right.
Cricket.
Before we
It's
get
getting
cricket,
interesting. Yes.
a word from our sponsors at Whole Health Pharmacy.
Yes. Whole Health Pharmacy, located in Jordan's Complex, Speightstown, St. Peter, carries a variety of products to take care of you and your health. Essential oils, muscle rubs, and the run-of-the-mill medications. And definitely don't forget your vitamins. Vinci sea salt, air humidifiers, tumblers, and women's havens pads too. We got it all for you. Don't forget your Barbados and natural Vinci snacks. So for sure you're gonna keep coming back. Ever hear about structured water? Well, tell your son, tell your daughter. Whole Health Pharmacy. More than a pharmacy, we take care of you and your health. So we are back to discuss more World Cup action. The World Cup is getting interesting. Since we've last been here, England still continue to lose.
Yes.
I just had
Okay.
slip that in.
They're bottom of the table, actually.
Yeah, still at the bottom of the table. That qualification for the Champions League looking dicey. A big game on tomorrow for that. Netherlands, England. At this rate, I fancy Netherlands, but I think at some point England can win the game again.
Okay.
But yeah, they're still losing. We had some shocking results. Sri Lanka doing junk. Ball up for, it was 53 against India.
Yeah.
Then South Africa ain't doing much better and get ball up for 83 against India on Sunday. I was honestly, and this is my thing. When I saw that game was coming out, I was excited because I think the perfect game for me to watch will be South Africa batting first and India chasing. Both teams doing what they prefer to do. I would have loved to see that, but of course South Africa can't chase to save their life.
Right.
So yeah, but they've qualified.
Right.
As
just
I
the fourth
predicted.
position that's up for grabs now, right?
Yeah, I think so far you have 2 teams that you predicted in. I have 2. Because you predicted India, Australia, England, and what was your 4th team? New Zealand?
Yeah.
And I went India, South Africa, New Zealand, and Pakistan.
It was
Marissa?
Pakistan?
Yeah.
It was Pakistan?
No, England.
It was England, right?
Yeah, I had Australia. Oh.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't have Australia in, right.
Right, because they had England instead of South Africa.
Right. So it's going to be interesting. New Zealand have now lost 4 games in a row.
Yes.
Very
they have one game left, right?
2. Sri Lanka.
No, they have one game. They played it already. They have one left.
Wow, Sri Lanka.
Right. Yeah, I know they played their game against Pakistan. They lost on Duckworth, Lewis.
Yeah, that was unlucky to me because Pakistan played brilliantly, but like people are saying, 225 overs is easier than 450. You never know what would have happened in the other 25 overs. But fair credit to Pakistan for being that aggressive in the chase. But to lose, making 400, and then to lose against Australia by 5 runs chasing 388. I think that with the exception of the South Africa loss where they were absolutely drubbed,
right?
Even against India, they played well. So New Zealand losing 4 games in a row is tough. But I think they'll beat Sri Lanka.
Okay.
I think they'll beat Sri Lanka and get in. Pakistan, England. That was Pakistan's last game. Yeah, Pakistan, England. That's a tough game to call right now because Pakistan doing the best impression of Jekyll and Hyde because they don't understand where them come from all of a sudden. But I do think New Zealand will get a job done against Sri Lanka and go through, and that will leave Pakistan needing, I think, a pretty big win.
And who's Afghanistan's last game again?
That's a great question. South Africa. Oh gosh, South Africa.
So
if Afghanistan bat first against South Africa, I think they'll win.
So we have about 4 teams that vying for that last.
Yeah, 3.
3, right?
New Zealand, Pakistan,
Pakistan, and Afghanistan.
No, if Afghanistan had won today, which we'll talk about that game in a bit. If Afghanistan had won today, that would have put them above New Zealand, and that would have made it more difficult for New Zealand because I do feel Afghanistan can beat South Africa, genuinely, depending on what happens at the toss. If South Africa bat first, that game done.
Mm-hmm.
But if Afghanistan bat first and put pressure on South Africa in the chase, I think Afghanistan might just pull that out. So yeah, it's gonna be tough, but I still fancy New Zealand to get that spot, to be honest, because Pakistan, once New Zealand win, because of their superior net run rate, they'll be fine. Because Afghanistan will need to beat South Africa heavily, and then Pakistan will need to beat England heavily.
Right.
So I think New Zealand will get through.
Yeah, well, they're going to win the game first.
True.
They have to win the game first, and that'll be telling anything.
Yeah.
And I know that you said that you think New Zealand will defeat Sri Lanka.
Mm-hmm.
But
because they're not playing bad cricket.
Exactly, they're not playing bad cricket.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think Sri Lanka. I think Sri Lanka is one of those teams that on their day they could be.
True.
And if they're not playing bad cricket, but to me, New Zealand, it's been a while since they've had a game where they have been dominant.
Yeah.
So it feels like if all of their games are kind of nip and tuck.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna wait and see if they win their game first.
Fair enough.
And if they win their game, it's very simple mathematics. Win your game, you're in. Lose it, they rely on other results.
Let's see how these games fall in. So tomorrow is England, Netherlands. Ooh, so New Zealand, South Africa is Thursday. Sorry, New Zealand, Sri Lanka is Thursday. So by Thursday, we'll know if the semifinals set or what's not. But Afghanistan really almost sprung I can't even say a surprise. When I saw this morning, I got it this morning and checked, and I saw they were batting first. Mm-hmm. I knew it was going to be trouble for Australia once Afghanistan got a score on the board, because Australia made the order is very poor. Like I told, that's why I didn't have them in the top 4, because their middle order is so brittle. Mm-hmm. And then Afghanistan, and they're not very good against spin.
Right.
And then Afghanistan have 3 fantastic spinners. So from the time I saw that, and then I saw they made 291, I was like, cha boy.
Yeah, I was concerned because when I peeped at ITV this morning, I saw that Afghanistan were 2-something odd. Can't remember the exact number for 5. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
It's not a minnow type score.
It's
okay,
true.
They're getting something that they can attempt to defend.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I was a little bit like, okay, interesting.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Very interesting. And then Australia in complete tatters, 91 for 7. Because I think it was out all day, and then checked the scoreboard. It was about 118 for 7. It was like, cha boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Check back. I see 260 something for 7, 20 something required off. I was like, what is happening? Open the scoreboard, see Glenn Maxwell 170 something, and Pat Cummins 11 or 50 balls or something.
When I saw
like that.
it, I was like, a man scored double 150 over game. And he didn't chase over 300, for example. Like, okay. That
was actually the first one they double 100 in a chase.
Oh.
Because all the others have come batting first. Which is, I don't want to say it's easy to do, but to score a double 100 in a chase, that's especially when your side is under pressure. Mm-hmm. And he just came back from a concussion too. Like, I gotta go home watching highlights. That was amazing. Like, how Australia won that game. It is just... I don't want to say Afghanistan. That sounds like best things would do. Let a team get away. Really?
But I mean, there's let a team get away, and then there's
and
good
then
batting.
There's that. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, I honestly believe it's probably good batting.
Yeah,
it's probably good. It's probably good hitting.
Well. Yeah.
Where everything just came off the middle.
Yeah, take nothing away from that. So, but that result would have definitely shut things up, because then you would have had Australia on 10. Who are Australia's last game? Netherlands.
I saw it not long ago. I think it might be Netherlands.
Could be Australia though. Anyways, it would have left Australia on 10, Afghanistan on 10, New Zealand on 8, Pakistan on 8.
Australia's last game is Bangladesh.
Australia played Netherlands already when Maxwell scored 100. Yeah, Bangladesh and being Australia.
Yeah. So Australia would have still got him.
Yeah, Australia would still get him. Yeah,
but Australia don't want to leave it to the end.
It's true.
I think position is important to rate, because first place plays 4th,
very,
second and third to each other.
So that's what's interesting. No,
right?
So I believe Australia. Exactly. I believe Australia will beat Netherlands. Which means, in order for South Africa to
Netherlands
avoid... Bangladesh. Yeah. Right. So then, in order for South Africa to... No, but I want to pay India.
Right, exactly.
So in order for South Africa to avoid India, they have to beat Afghanistan.
Because India is just on a crescent wave of, I don't know, emotion. They're everything is going right.
It's just...
But it don't matter if they're under pressure, they lose a couple of hits, somebody in Bangladesh standing up. even when they haven't gotten big totals, the bowling is getting you out cheaply. Everything's just going right. Every facet of the game, good feeling and everything.
Honestly, I don't know what to say. It's like, I think it would be the biggest upset in the world if India don't win the World Cup.
At this point. All I'm saying, because the nature of the tournament, remember I said it earlier, that I expected at least everything to have a bad game.
Yeah.
I'm here wondering, like, so when India bad game gonna come? And I hope for India to say, I hope it doesn't come
final,
the semi or the final.
Yeah, exactly.
But when the bad game gonna come?
Yeah.
You know, under par game gonna come, because it doesn't seem as if they have one in them this tournament. So
man, that's just crazy.
India's gonna take some beating. I think what will be encouraging from the Australia perspective is that Australia seem to be finding their stride at the right time.
Yeah.
Although today was a bit of an alarm bell.
Yeah.
But for the most part, Australia seem to be coming into their own. And their big players are scoring runs, like Warner and Labuschagne and Smith.
Yeah.
And even Maxwell today.
Yeah.
And the attack is not bad either. So
it's not. So but I do think everybody want to fight India.
I'm still concerned about South Africa in that Final Four
me too.
final, because I still feel as I've seen some games from South Africa where they have been poor.
Yeah, it upsets me. Both of their losses have been awful chases. And that's what upsets me. Like, you can't be so good batting first and then don't know how to shot. Even when they barely won against Pakistan, that was a chase that they barely scraped over the line too. Right. So I think the formula to beat South Africa is too easy. Bat first and let them chase. Right. The formula to beat Australia is also quite easy. Choke them with spin when they're chasing. Right. So I just think none of them want to play India. I mean, if I had to choose a team that I think could beat India, it would probably be New Zealand. I felt like New Zealand, even though it was a comfortable chase in the end, I still felt New Zealand put a better showing against India than Australia and South Africa. But I don't think India can lose this World Cup. I don't think so. So it's just a matter of who plays them in final. And it's looking like it will either be, based on the leaderboard, it will either be South Africa or Australia in the final of the World Cup. But which one of those sides has a better chance of beating India?
Here's the thing. I think that India would rather play South Africa.
Of course.
I think, but there's a reason why. I don't know where this of course thing come from, because I think India capable of beating both. Right. But I think the thing with Australia is that Australia is one of those teams that you don't want to underestimate in the final.
Exactly.
Australia will turn around in the final and beat you.
Exactly. That's why I say of course, because you know South Africa got that C word attached to them.
Right. Australia has pedigree. Tournament pedigree.
Exactly. And they're playing like they know how to win a tournament.
Correct.
So I do feel that India would prefer to play South Africa in the final. But if you had to choose which one of those sides could beat India in the final, who do you think it would be?
Australia. I think it could be Australia. If, in terms of who could get the victory.
If South Africa bat first, I think it would be South Africa.
Here's the thing. Because for me, if South Africa bat first, I'm not hanging my hat that as much as they might like to bat first. I ain't hanging my hat on them scoring a big score against India either. Because that is certain that Marissa would be like, you'll call me and be like, 106 here? 163 for 6. What are they doing?
Gosh, I could so
in the final.
I could so see that.
Exactly. I don't trust South Africa. And I keep on saying that. My days of trusting them gone.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. But honestly, I know a lot of people have had their issues with some one-sided contests, but the fact that we're literally going into the last few group stages when with so much on the line, Champions Trophy qualification, top 4 qualification, Afghanistan playing so well, like, honestly, I just think I've enjoyed the World Cup. I don't care what anybody else says. I've enjoyed it. So tomorrow's game will be interesting. I believe that Netherlands' last game is India. So I think in order to really have a shot at that Champions Trophy, they need to win tomorrow.
Okay.
And if England loses tomorrow, they won't qualify for the Champions Trophy. Cry me a river. Yeah. No one cares. I don't care. All right, so that has been another episode of the Dugout podcast. We've really had some really interesting talking points. I really hope that we're not back here next week talking about VAR. But my fear with Anthony Taylor refereeing Chelsea Man City, we'll be back here again talking about VAR and refereeing. But such is life. Yep. But just shout out to our sponsors, Whole Health Pharmacy, Spirit Light Studios, of course, doing a great job with our setup every week. Follow us, Marissa Simone 91, Drew
9106.
Right, and of course follow the Dugout _ podcast. He always got my back, you know. We ready. So yeah, this has been another fantastic episode of the Dugout podcast, and we do hope to see you again next week.